Welcome to the F3 Cup, and this week bringing you action from Brands Hatch and Snetterton. We'll start on the Brands Indy circuit. This is the standings coming into the weekend. Aaron Steele at the top of the standings, clear of Stuart Wiltshire and Jacopo Sebastiani. But plenty to race for around the tight and twisty Indy circuit. It's championship leader Steele who starts from pole position alongside him, Louis Hamilton-Smith, many times a race winner in the F3 Cup. Then it's Sebastiani and Tony Bishop who makes his return to the category as the revs rise. And away we go. Brilliant start from the red and white car of Louis Hamilton-Smith, who gets the jump there, and Steele as they sprint towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Also a lightning getaway from Stuart Wiltshire as he moves clear of both Daniel Tapinos and Tony Bishop as they plunge down through Paddock Hill Bend and then climb up Hailwood Hill into Druids. Tapinos meanwhile also does battle with Bishop. It's Tapinos in the black car who moves clear. Out front though, it's Hamilton-Smith from Steele, the pair of them already moving away from Jacopo Sebastiani. And then it's Stuart Wiltshire, Daniel Tapinos and Tony Bishop, that leading sextet, well ahead of the rest of the pack through Surtees on the brakes into clearways, and then picking up the throttle out of Clark Curve through the slight compression along the lengthy right-hander known as the Brabham Straight before they begin to aim for that blind entry into Paddock Hill Bend. And these Formula 3 cars braking very, very late indeed. A little bit of a wiggle there from Steele as he keeps his foot in, climbing up towards Druids again with the aerodynamic grip available to the drivers. They can brake very late for the hairpin. Swooping down into Graham Hill Bend and then the short sprint along the Cooper Straight. Many of these cars in period wouldn't have raced on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit unless their provenance was in the F3 Euro Series. The Indy circuit by and large coming off the British Formula 3 Championship schedule at the end of 2004. Dizzyingly quick laps here, and in qualifying Aaron Steele on pole with a time of 43.409. It's a little bit further back down the pack from Tomat, under pressure from Ashley Crossley. Crossley in the silver Enigma car, one of the cars in the trophy class, as he looks to make the move to the inside of Tomat as they climb uphill into Druids, and Crossley goes through. Very, very nice move. Already he eases away now with some clear air ahead of him. What can Crossley do about chasing down that gap to Tony Bishop? That's his next target, and as you can see, it's a target that is a reasonably long way away. He's already dropped Tomat, who in turn has got plenty of ground over Lima Crumblish. Meanwhile, back to the lead of the race, and Louis Hamilton-Smith consults his mirrors. There is former F3 Cup Series winner Aaron Steele just behind him. 4 car lengths or so between that leading duo as they flick their way through Graham Hill Bend and then sprint along the Cooper Straight. Gap back then to the next car, that's Jacopo Sebastiani, who was spectacular at Donington Park. Did have the odd wayward moment, this time with a little bit of empty air to play with. He concerned about setting consistent lap times as they flash through. Already reeling off another lap, and this time Steele begins to apply the pressure, asking all the right questions of Hamilton-Smith. Negotiates at Paddock Hill Bend. You can see Steele just a little bit more confident on the brakes. What Aaron Steele's got to be mindful of here is driving through the turbulent air behind Louis Hamilton-Smith, because once you get into that turbulent wake, that's when you start to ask a little bit more of your tyres. That's when it becomes so hard to overtake. Well, this is the battle between Daniel Tapinos in the black car, Tony Bishop, the red machine. Tony was ever present in the F3 Cup for several seasons. Quick driver, showed that in qualifying by lining up in 4th. So, relatively speaking, in these early stages of the race, is out of position. Here comes Ashley Crossley at the back of the picture. So Crossley making fantastic progress already to get onto terms with this battle as Tapinos runs very wide through clearways. How does that give an opening to Bishop? A pair of them run along the Brabham Straight. Tapinos has got just enough in hand as they arrive on the brakes into Paddock. Both of them just clip the apex, plummet downhill, and then head up to the braking zone. Druids, just that single turn of the wheel, you don't scrub the tyres, as Aaron Steele trying every which way to try and get onto terms with Louis Hamilton Smith and possibly find a way past him. Hamilton Smith knows that given how short the braking distances are for these Formula 3 cars, if he just keeps the racing line, doesn't drive with his mirrors, it's going to make it very, very hard for Steele to find a way past him. While Bishop continues his inspection of Tapinos' rear wing. And there is Crossley closing onto their tail all the while. And Tapinos equipped with one of the newer cars in the race, the 2011 variant of the Dallara chassis, although really it was an iteration of the Dallara F308, whereas Tony Bishop behind him, he is in the Dallara F307. Then we've got the 2001 spec car of Crossley, who's now right onto terms. It gives you an indication, relatively speaking, of the pace Daniel Tapinos is running at, just that little bit slower than both Bishop and Crossley go at, but not slow enough to make it inevitable that Bishop's going to find a way past him. But now Tony Bishop looks to line up for a move and darts to the outside as they arrive into Paddock Hill Bend, but there's going to be no way through there for Bishop. Now, can he get the switch back? No, he can't. Tapinos moves across to defend, about to close in to Frank Thomas and put a lap onto him. Also there is Lee McCrumblish, another driver who goes a lap down. McCrumblish stays well clear and out of the way, doesn't delay this battle at all as Bishop looks for the move to the inside. He can't quite find a way past, and now has he overcommitted? Is that going to give an opening to Crossley? Actually, Crossley takes the perfect line into clearways, looks to get on the power as early as possible, and it means now he's right in the tow behind Tony Bishop. Bishop moves across quite late to defend. The silver car across, he's got the inside line here, Paddock Hill Bend, and commits to the move. Beautifully done there by Ashley Crossley to the inside of Tony Bishop. And now they've got Frank Thomas to concern themselves with. Now, is Thomas going to stay out of the way, because this will be the anxious moment for Ashley Crossley. When he gets held up by the slower car, and possibly gives Bishop the chance to retaliate. And it might just happen, because Thomas moves across right into the path of Ashley Crossley, who I think thought there was some space there to the inside at Surtees. Yes, don't think he's saying you're number one there, as Crossley eventually gets past Frank Thomas. Tony Bishop, however, hasn't quite been able to find a way past. Let's return then to the fight for the lead of the race between Louis Hamilton Smith and Aaron Steele. Steele now a little bit closer to Hamilton Smith. Great racing this between the pair of them, because Steele has been able to drive through that turbulent air. He really is hassling Hamilton Smith as he looks to the inside at paddock. But again, just couldn't draw alongside at the point at which Hamilton Smith turned into the corner. The pair of them attempt to challenge each other through draws. That doesn't happen either, but look at what Louis Hamilton Smith is doing. He is just sticking to the racing line. He's putting everything into Steele's court. He's making Steele do all the hard work in trying to get that extra momentum coming out of a corner, and then possibly do something a little bit spectacular. But part of the challenge here on the Brands Hatch circuit, because the circuit is relatively short, just 1.2 miles, is that you can sometimes have to set up your overtaking manoeuvre several laps in advance of actually going for it. Again, Steele clearly feels that his best opportunity is to the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. Once more, there was no way past. The two leaders, by the way, have pulled a long, long way clear of Jacopo Sebastiani in third. It's Stuart Wiltshire who is in fourth place. A pair of them flick into Surtees and then get on the brakes and clearways. Just scrubbing out, running a little bit wide there, Louis Hamilton Smith. They have potentially got a little bit of traffic ahead of them. Indeed they do. Now is that going to make it an opening for Steele? Well, he looks to the inside of Hamilton Smith nonetheless into Paddock Hill Bend. Can't quite find a way past. It's Lee McCrumblish whom they overhaul, and McCrumblish again doesn't intrude at all on this battle for the lead of the race. We're getting into the latter stages here. Brands Hatch, they've only got time probably for 2 or 3 more laps. And again, Steele running right in the slipstream behind Louis Hamilton Smith. You know that he's looking for that move into Paddock Hill Bend. Meanwhile, Ashley Crossley, the trophy class leader, all over the tail of Daniel Tapanos. Now, can he succeed in what Tony Bishop fell to? Now, this is the best run that Steele has had all race, and Hamilton Smith has to defend into Paddock Hill Bend. Indeed he does. Now, can Steele get the switch back? He can't. He just was blocked out on the apex at Paddock. It means he couldn't carry that excess momentum through. Beautifully judged defensive driving there from Louis Hamilton Smith. Made it impossible for Aaron Steele to find a way around him. And so Hamilton Smith maintains the lead of the race. And they are on the last lap now, so just a couple of corners remaining. Steele has done remarkably well, really, to stay as close as he had to Hamilton Smith throughout the course of the race. But it's Louis Hamilton Smith who accelerates through Clark Curve for the final time. The checkered flag is ready and waiting, and Louis Hamilton Smith takes the win just from Aaron Steele. 0.15 of a second between the pair of them, and then we have the wait for Jacopo Sebastiani to flash through across the line in third. Brilliant race that between Hamilton Smith and Steele, the very best of Formula 3 racing, but we have still got the fight for fifth to be resolved. Stuart Wiltshire across the line in fourth. Now will it be Tapanos or Ashley Crossley? The pair of them accelerate to the line, and Daniel Tapanos does indeed just do enough to hold on. So let's have a look then at the classification, with the win by the slenderest of margins. Louis Hamilton Smith, Aaron Steele in third, from Jacopo Sebastiani, then Stuart Wiltshire and Daniel Tapanos, with Ashley Crossley, our trophy class winner. Well, that's it from Brands Hatch, but join us after the break with the action from Snetterton.